Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the All Balls Sports Show, a discussion of any and all sports, local, regional, and national. And now, here are your hosts, Dan James, Eddie Bobo, Ty Cobb, and the coach, Vance Ballou.
Thank you, Bill Jones. Welcome into the All the Ball Sports Show for this Tuesday evening, the 24th day of April. We got Mac Reagan with us, who's the Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Columbia. Got to say right off the top of the bat here that Mac, we had the absolute best time at the Mid-State Classic.
It was an awesome show. Things rolled right into place. We were battling a lot of uphill battles with construction going on out at Ridley Sports Complex, but everything seemed to work and fall into place perfectly. And first game in, not a moment too soon.
Oh, man, 12 innings, yeah.
When I looked at my clock, I knew we were behind schedule, but Byron and our staff and Bill Marbert and them jumped in and were able to get everything ready right as Tennessee walked over for their 7-minute warm-up. So everything worked out. I'm glad we put that extra hour and a half in there, you know. That's something I wanted to change from the beginning. I'm glad I did.
The two ladies that you had working with us in the press box could not have been more professional in what they did. The lady sitting beside me, whose name I cannot remember, who was doing the books, she said, well, now we're into international rules. And I said, what are international rules?
Miss Howell.
Yeah, Miss Howell. And she explained what the international rules were, that you put a player on second base and then –
promote scoring.
It does. And so we learned a lot.
Yeah, sure did. Yep.
Well, I even tried to take the mayor and the trophy down for good luck at one time.
Yeah. I thought you was a little premature when you took it down.
An hour later, we handed it out to the other team. Yeah. So, I mean, I was like, let's go, mayor. We'll bring in some luck here, and this will happen. It didn't work out like that.
That first game was a good game.
Columbia State, in regulation, had it in hand.
Oh, yeah.
And that little team fought back. And
what a crowd, too.
Man.
It was.
I tell you what, there were a lot of
we were at 1,000
Ball State fans.
Yeah,
there.
We were at about 1,000 people during the middle of the first game. So that's a good thing for Columbia State and Vol State. I'm not sure how often they play in front of a crowd that large. Yeah. So it was really, it was a very vocal crowd on both sides.
Oh, yeah. So yeah. The one thing that I was impressed with and talking to a couple of people was that they said they got tweets back and Twitter feeds and all this other kind of stuff from the Memphis folks, from the Memphis, the Lady Tigers, that said that they had not been treated anywhere that they've gone in any town better than they were treated here in Columbia.
Well, that was our goal. When we talked with the University of Tennessee, I told them, be brutally honest. Tell if there's anything we could do better, make sure to tell us. And we did the same with Coach Natalie Poole in Memphis. Sure. We got real good feedback. Seemed to have a real good time. I know Coach Poole was a little disappointed in the way she played. She'd played a lot better coming in. But Tennessee got their mojo back here in Columbia. They were sort of low, it had been 8-run roll a couple times, and they were, like I said, they were meeting and practicing early, meeting late, and they went out and produced. The game was tough. It was hard working, but they got some runs there at the end that gave them the needed 8 runs. So it allowed us to get them out here early enough. They still got back. That's the thing most people don't realize. And they're doing 1,000+ autographs there. Mm-hmm. And, probably 1,500. I don't know how many it was. It was just the line went forever. And these young ladies are actually getting back at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and getting up and going to class.
Right.
So,
and it's not just the UT ladies, it's the Memphis ladies getting back
correct.
Too. Because here we are in the center of the state, basically.
And they're both the 4-hour drive, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
So we appreciate them both. I'm sure, we've already worked a little bit on next year's game and nothing to announce or, to leak out or anything else. But
oh, come on, Mac.
But I'm sure it'll be another big game. We're getting that reputation of really, rolling out the red carpet for everybody that comes in. Columbia welcomes them well. It was a good event for us. It really was a real good event. When you're dealing with big events and anything over 2,500 people, it's a pretty big event. That is, and it goes smoothly as it did. Of course, we have things that we'll have to clean up, but that was a good night for us, City of Columbia.
Well, we really haven't had an event like that in a couple of years to where we could see where we need to improve.
Right.
So it was a good test the other night about, this needs to go here, this can't be here, we've got to do this here, and then you can work all those things out.
That's correct. One thing I think that we really showed is that the food trucks can be highly successful.
Yeah.
And, halfway through the first game, I was approached by one person who had a food truck, and they were really concerned that they had too much, it was going to be a loss. And I was like, hey, just relax, you'll run out of food. Just relax. And I tried to stay away until it got to the point where I seen him getting ran over. And I just walked by and smiled at him, that's all it took. He didn't even look up. He was just like,
you said it was going to happen.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for because it's coming. It's at a time where it's hard to get food on the way to the game, and you're fighting your way in. So when you get there, first thing you want to do is grab your food. We had 2 concession stands and a food truck. We'll make some adjustments to that in the coming time, but really, really good day. Really good day.
It was temperature-wise, it couldn't have been more perfect.
Oh, it could have been hot. I'd like it to have been about 85, 90 degrees, but I'll live with that. I'll live with that. I mean,
I was comfortable.
Yeah.
But we were where it was climate controlled, man. It's 72.
Yeah.
So was it?
But when you're in our business, the important thing is to make everybody so happy that they want to come back.
Right.
And I think we achieved that. We really had good success with our meals that we provided for them. We really had some really good feedback on that.
Well, I know the Lady Vols team. They smiled real big when they came into the hotel, and they were walking into the room where there's going to be fed and all that. The band started playing Rocky Top.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that,
Oh, yeah.
Matter
of fact, the girls requested a second playing of it a little later, so.
Well, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Alex and the boys did a great job.
Yeah.
Little 5-piece band were great.
Yeah, it's, Alex is a fantastic musician. He really is. It's sort of like there's certain fields that you can be, super talented at, and you have to work in other fields to make a living. And I'm in one of those in judo. You can make okay money, but you got to have another field. So I chose something easier and happier, and playing for a living and recreating, and you take out all the construction and all this, the actual work. Recreation is pretty fun. Walking through the park, seeing how, making sure the grass is cut and everything. It's a good life, but when you get down to the other things, it gets a little more serious.
Yeah.
And going through our budget.
Tough job. Somebody's got to do it though, Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I chose well. In my life, I've made good decisions, so I'm glad I've done it.
Speaking of baseball recreation, you've got something you want to talk about. They're going to do special for
Friday night at MTSU. They are going to be. This will be the inaugural Love for Luke night, and it's something that Coach McGuire is wanting to do on an annual basis. As a matter of fact, they're working on a spring thing and a fall thing. But what they're going to do is raise money for Dreams and Wishes of Tennessee. And that's a group that grants a wish for children that have relapsed and had to go back into the hospital and go under treatment, which they did a great thing for Luke. And, of course, Luke's tie-in with the MTSU baseball team, this worked out just perfect. So they're gonna be honoring Luke. My granddaughter Lucy's gonna throw out the first pitch, and like I said, they're gonna raise money for Dreams and Wishes.
Tell Lucy to throw high.
Yes. And they also set up a deal. They've got a dad in the program who makes custom bats, and he's going to do a bat with Luke on it, and they're going to give it an award at the end of the year for the player that shows the most courage and everything. And he said this was going to be an annual thing. You know, when Coach McGuire was here, he was telling us they were going to do some things, and they're really stepping up and doing some things. And just anybody who's got a chance to go to Murfreesboro, 6 o'clock Friday night, it'd be a great thing. And like I said, going to try to raise some money where another child can get a wish granted.
Now,
That's awesome.
My suggestion would be leave here about 3 on Friday and get there about 4 on Friday, and don't try to fight that Murfreesboro traffic.
That's right.
It was bad in 1973. It's even worse 40 years later.
And we know what it is trying to get in there around on the side where the baseball field and
Greenland Drive area is terrible.
it is. It's rough. So, but anybody who's got a chance wants to come up, it'd be a great night.
Last Tuesday night, we had the opportunity to be at senior night for the rugby, ladies rugby at Central High School. Let me tell you about this ladies rugby team. These girls are tough.
Oh, gosh.
Told y'all a couple episodes ago.
I'm telling you, they're tough. Anyway, here's what's happening with the Lady Lions rugby team. I happened to get this off Facebook today.
Good.
Saturday, May 5th, they'll travel to Knoxville, and they're going to battle defending state champions McMinn in the East Regional Championship. If the Lady Lions win, they'll travel to MTSU on May 12th to play in their first state championship game against the winner of the West Regional Championship. Now, finally, on Saturday, May 19th, the Lady Lions will be invited to compete, or have been invited to compete, in the National Invitational Championships at MTSU, featuring women's teams from all over the country. This will be their last competition for the 2018 season.
Wow.
And then they're going to have their rugby banquet on Thursday, May 24th, of which we've been invited. So, so there you go. But last Tuesday night was senior night. They had several, I think 15, if I'm not mistaken. 15
it was
seniors.
several, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And by the way, I'd like to give a shout out and a plug to my son, RossJanes.com. They have a new show called What's Kickin' Columbia, and he started that this week. The first episode is up.
Good episode.
It is very good episode. So make sure you check it out. He's doing that with the city of Columbia. So go to RossJanes.com. He's got photographs. He's got pictures and errors and paragraph on the back of each one describing what each one is. Who can name where that's from?
What?
Alice's Restaurant.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
He took some awesome pictures of the Mid-State Classic, too.
Yes, he did. But he is an FAA drone certified commercial operator. So that's what he was doing. I never knew he was there, but he was droning all over the place apparently.
I never saw the drone.
I never did either.
Well, it was up high enough. I don't think we did. Plus, the action was so good. I don't think we would have. You know, so.
But he did a good job. Has he got any plans to do anything for Parks and Recs?
Yes, yeah, I'm sure we'll be involved soon.
Ooh. See, Dad knows nothing.
Well, I'm just guessing, but with the construction coming the way it is, our lights are going up at Ridley already.
Really?
Yeah, fields are being laid, sand's being laid down, walls are up on the building coming up.
Wow!
But construction is really moving well, even with as much rain as we have. So if we get some dry weather, it'll go real quick. I'm sure he'll be involved in something there.
All right, now you were telling me that outside weights over at Fairview.
About a year ago, we got I don't know if we want to call it a grant or we were awarded from Murray Regional Healthcare Foundation. Awarded us $50,000 to help install outdoor exercise equipment. we took that, we partnershiped it with some other monies that we had, and we built a pad. We built a ADA accessible sidewalk to it, and also to another baseball field with a bridge going across the thing down there. And we put in a 40 by 45 pad, and they're bringing in 13 outdoor exercise equipment. They'll be able to service about 25 people at a time.
Wow.
So you're going to be able to get a workout free of charge. It's going to be in the outdoors. It's a Greenfield product. It's actually top of the line. When you look at it compared to what other people have done and they've paid for it outright, most of the things of this size, that outdoor exercise equipment would cost about $125,000, and we've got much less in that. We really appreciate Murray Regional Healthcare Foundation for helping us out with this. It's going to be a great, great project. Should be in next week. We'll have a ribbon cutting, and it'll be open to the public. And we'll actually have a fitness instructor that'll come on certain times, and we'll actually hold classes. So you'll be able to have like a personal trainer there and have these classes and show you how to use the equipment, show you how to get a workout. So we're really excited about that. And we put a lot of time and emphasis in Fairview Park, and we're getting some real good results. Our numbers have really gone up, as they have in all of our parks, but we're really pleased about that.
Personal instructor would that be from
our department?
Okay, like from over at Recreation Center.
The Armory Center. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Nick has got an exercise science degree. He's got a certification. He does, group classes over there, but he'll come over and do some classes over here at this station. And we have another one that's coming soon. It's already in the works from another sponsorship. And that'll be announced soon, but it may not be as big, but it'll be something else, and that'll give us 2 different
parks. And it
parks.
will be where?
If I'm going to guess, it would be on the upper end of the Riverwalk Park, where it's high ground.
Well, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, it's got to be high ground.
Yeah, it does.
So if I was to guess, that's what we'd be looking at. And really excited about that. It'll add to our overall recreational utility. We just keep advancing. I think we're already at 9 things that we made ADA accessible this year alone, and we'll probably be able to squeeze out some money from our budget and do 3 or 4 more. So things are moving well for us. We're going in the right direction. It's not just our sporting events that are excelling. Our park system is getting better.
I know you have those days where you're bogged down in the office and you're doing all this budget stuff and all the numbers aren't fun and all that, but you got a pretty good job at Mac Reagan getting to watch things grow.
Yeah.
And that's the fun. And then you've got a progressive city council that allows you to be able to do that.
Yeah, and our budget's coming up here soon, and we hope that things flow well for us, and they have been in the last few years. That just couldn't ask for a better situation. Like I always told you, I'm not here to retire. I'll die on the job, and hopefully that's quite a few years away. But
we do too. We hope that's a long time away.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, to work, to live. I'm really pleased. Absolutely one of those other good decisions I made in my life is to come to City of Columbia.
Well, see, I've got this list of good decisions, and then I've got this other list.
Yeah, we all do. But we can forget about those and move forward.
Yeah, we have to now that we're at my age. We have to just forget about that and just push it off to the side and say, "Don't worry about that, kid. Could have been different, but it's not."
He's pushing my direction for some reason.
No. I'll push back over here. I'll push back toward the camera.
That's more better.
That's right.
So how was the new press box? I never got a chance to ask.
Well, we still the one thing, it's great. Let me say that it's great. We just need to drill some holes where we should have drilled some holes last year.
So run cords.
Yeah, to run cords. It just makes it easier if the cords go in underneath.
That's simple enough.
Yeah,
we'll come over and mark them and pop them out.
Sounds like a winner. But otherwise, I mean, it's great. The sight lines, unfortunately, will be fixed at some point. But as far as being in there and being able to see everything, it's great.
Yeah, in 2011 when we constructed the fields,
just need to move that scoreboard over.
Well, we'll move the scoreboard. It's easier to move the scoreboard in than that big anchor pole.
Yes.
I mean, in 2011, I don't think they really realized how big we were getting.
Yeah.
and it's became a day of its own. And so,
I don't think that Tony Massey, our city manager, has really anticipated growing this big.
I don't know.
I think we could almost double the amount of people we could put in there.
Yeah, but we would have to bring in external bleachers and everything. What we're doing right now is absolutely top notch.
It's comfortable.
Yes, flows well.
Yes.
Not a lot of problems. Because, I mean, you know, there's security things we're going to have to take into effect too. We've gotten to the size where we'll probably have to adopt the everything has to be in a clear bag rule. You know, there'll be a lot of limitations we'll have to. We're no longer a recreational game. This is an NCAA game, and it's got the same draw. I think it'll be picked up by somebody. I think it'll be televised eventually. So there's a lot going on with that.
And that press box is made for that upstairs.
Right.
I mean, you can put a TV camera up there and go crazy with it.
Yeah, most people put a TV camera on the top, and a lot of people put a TV camera in the outfield straight down the line. And
but we got ample room for all of that. It would be great.
Yeah, I would like to say it'd be nice to see that televised with the City of Columbia logo painted in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was something I'd really like to see. But I mean, you know, hey, right now we're just really pleased with the way things went.
Grow slow, man. We can't just do it all at one time.
Well, to be honest, the game 2 years ago, I could have probably sold 10,000 tickets.
Oh yeah. Because you had people begging. From out of town.
Upset that they didn't get them. And we had a similar situation at the end of this year, you know, and it'll be next year if we have another high priority game. You know, we have I don't know, maybe a couple SEC teams play. I think you'll have a situation where we'll sell out. Hopefully, we're going to have some things that change the way we sell tickets, and it'll be more like what you do if you go to an SEC game or to a concert, and it'll be less, you know, direct interaction. Have to come to Rating House. You can do it just like you would for any other event, and that'll be good for all of us.
And then also, you guys have got coming up. You got the Movies in the Park starting in June.
That's correct.
And then May 28th, we also have the big concert event out at Riverwalk.
Right. That event is getting so many hits on Facebook.
Yeah.
I actually met with our police department today, talked to them. We're concerned that we're going to have an overflow of crowd.
Really?
Yeah. Last year we had a music – in the past, I don't know, about 3 or 4 years ago, when I first got here, we would have, you know, 20, 25 people for, you know, a music event and movies in the parks. And then we started up in our game and bought our screen and showing a lot of different movies, and we'd have up to 150, 200 people probably last year. And then we had a concert that had between 400 and 500.
Wow.
So we expect this one to bring that same type of atmosphere.
That 3 little tiers down there is not going to hold 400 or 500 people.
No, but they'll lock in all the way around the bowl. They'll be up to the Rotary Shelter and all the way to Farmers Market and all the way around. The thing about it is there'll be a parking issue. People have to park downtown and walk. So there'll be a lot of things going on, and we'll just really, really have to be prepared for that.
Well, I can park on my old house on Conant and walk down. That's no problem.
Yeah.
I got a place I can park.
But that's the thing about Ridley when it gets completed. We'll have the football field there and the stadium bleachers, and we'll bring things in. And we could easily accommodate, you know, with 1,100 park spots, we could easily accommodate a concert of, you know, 10,000 people, probably 9, 8, something like that, pretty easily. So we can have as big a recreational event as you want. And a thing that most people don't realize, Dan, not to get off topic here, but Mid-State Classic, they think that's you know a massive event. But last Saturday, I went into the park, and there were more cars there that day and more people than there were for the Mid-State Classic, probably twice as many, you know. And that was just a 50-team tournament, well, 58-team tournament. We'll have tournaments that come in there for softball alone. We'll have 100 teams.
Yeah.
So when you got softball, football, soccer all going on at the same time.
And they're all overlapping.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be a massive, massive event. We're excited about it. You know,
I think it's great.
We'll rest when we die, as we say.
Yeah. Plenty of time to sleep.
Somebody else will do the work, right?
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Well, that's great, man. I'm glad to hear that. I'm proud to be the announcer for Foster Party of 8, so I get to charge up the crowd before they come out. So
That's cool.
watching their light show and watching how they've added the Froggy's Fog and all that stuff is really incredible, something to watch.
It's a show in itself.
It is a show. Yeah, it is. So it's going to be a big
That's
deal.
a good way to kick off the year.
Yeah.
It really is. And then we'll get into our
So they got
movies
a
in the
fog machine too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I mean, their laser shows probably second to none. That you won't have to go to a major concert to see anything close.
Yeah, it's really good. We enjoy watching it. I enjoy sitting back just listening to it.
I hear you.
They play all the good stuff that I like.
The 70s stuff.
Well, yeah, the old
Yeah.
stuff. All right.
When music was music.
Exactly. All right, here's what we got for quarterback class, draft class 2018. According to this list that I have, of course, tomorrow night is the draft.
Thursday night.
Or like I said,
Yeah.
Thursday night is the draft. Ranked number 1, Baker Mayfield. Mayfield from Oklahoma.
To Cleveland.
Well,
And
they're not saying where he's going.
I'll tell you what, Cleveland.
Cleveland's got the first pick. And that's
Yeah,
who
but-
they're-
With what they just had with Manziel, do they really want to take another chance?
but they had 2 quarterbacks this year that really played good. I mean, their defense is what lost them the games there late.
He'd be the
had
fifth
several
I'd
games
take.
won, but they just
He'd be the fifth.
But that was the big talk this afternoon.
You can have all those intangibles you want, but it comes down to a talent game in the NFL.
right.
The number 2 ranked quarterback is Sam Darnold from USC.
Good kid.
He's got 4,143 yards, 26 TDs, and 13 interceptions.
Correct.
Would the 13 interceptions not
That's,
make him a little suspect?
As
no,
much as
13. They ain't many for the amount of
The time they put the ball up.
put the ball in the
I
air.
mean, they aired it out.
Number 3, Logan Woodside from Toledo. These are some names I've never even heard of.
Let's see.
Hey, the number 9 pick is Mason Rudolph. He's a golfer. I've heard of him.
I'll give you my sleeper here in a minute.
All right, go ahead.
See if he's on the list.
All right. hang on.
Mike White, big, strong arm kid out of Western Kentucky.
Number 17.
Watch that name.
Okay.
Watch him. He's got a really
Where's the
good
kid
competitive
from,
edge.
Wyoming projected.
Josh Allen,
Yeah.
12th.
The kid from UCLA will probably be the most successful. He's got the
Well,
most
you know,
talent. Rosen.
The knock on the Wyoming quarterback was his accuracy with the long ball. You know,
Wow.
but in the Senior Bowl he showed out. You know,
Yeah, that's where White really had a good game. He showed
Yeah.
up.
Well, here's something for you, too. Number 5, Riley Ferguson out of Memphis.
Yeah.
yeah,
Ferguson's got a big arm.
It's not bad.
yeah. He was originally at UT.
Oh, was he?
Yes,
He got tired of bricks.
right. He got tired of putting
Somebody-
the brick by brick up.
Somebody
you know.
laying bricks on him.
Or getting picked up
Yeah,
after he got knocked down because he didn't have an offensive line.
right.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. All right. Well, let's switch over to. Let me see what else have we got here. As you can tell, we're way well prepared for this show.
Well, you know, winging a
Oh, by the way, here we go. Here we go. Topic. New topic.
All right.
All right. 2 cheerleaders that are currently suing the NFL for discrimination have proposed their terms to settle, and they're straightforward: $1 each, and a 4-hour meeting between Commissioner Roger Goodell, the league's lawyers, and at least 4 cheerleaders, including the 2 that are initially named in the suit. They just want to be heard. They just want to be
So
treated
one of
fairly.
them is from the Saints, and the other is from what, the Miami Dolphins.
One is from Dolphins and Saint Cheer Squads. Kristen Ware and Bailey Davis, former members.
How did I
of both.
know that?
If I was a betting man, which I'm not because it's illegal in this state, I would say Roger Goodell writes a check and refuses to meet.
I would say you're
But
right.
would he write a check for $1?
No,
No.
he would just
No,
he'll
it'll
just
be-
say we'll go to court. I think there's a special clause in the cheerleaders' contract that they're actually not employees of the organization.
Aren't they contract, basically?
I believe they are. I believe that's what it is.
Because they get, what, $50-$75 a day to do that?
It's really low. And
they're not
And only on home games.
they're not supposed to fraternize at all with any of the players.
That's true.
Well, I mean, I don't.
be at an event.
It can't be at the same event, you know.
A team sponsored
Right.
situation.
Yeah, they have different. I mean, when you see the NFL world, we think cheerleaders are really cute, but a lot of them can't meet what the NFL players run with anyway. So,
Well,
one of those type
if
worlds.
you watch the movie The Replacements, you kind of get the idea about the cheerleading squads.
it's to be honest, be honest, the cheerleaders are usually professionals that
Yeah.
can dance.
Yeah, professional
Yeah.
dancers.
You'll find a nurse. You'll find,
Right.
whatever. You don't find a lot of people that's the only thing that they do. Usually there's something else, and that's what they do on the side. Or they're a model trying to get in,
Right.
to get their face out there and get. And my gosh, guys, they work those ladies to death.
Yeah, but I can understand their concerns.
Oh,
I mean, let them do what they do and leave
Exactly.
them alone. I mean,
I
basically,
would, to be honest, I would meet with them. This is just for the NFL.
yeah.
This is a no-lose situation because when it gets out, what they have to go through, and it's been publicized. I mean, heck,
Sure.
they've made shows about it, so they know the kind of environment they go through.
Well, and if you meet with them, it may lead to things being done differently and handled differently.
Yeah.
And all that.
I don't think the
Better
NFL
situation.
owners want to do that, though.
Well,
They'll hope they'll just fire these young ladies and move on. That's what they're, unfortunately for them. But, kudos for them for standing up.
oh yeah,
If you're being mistreated, in this world,
Right,
stand up
right.
and face it. You
Right.
got like that.
I
And
agree.
they show they're not after money. They're wanting $1.
right.
So, I mean, I hope that they get things worked out like they deserve.
story out of Knoxville the other day
Yes.
was that the new head coach was attacking his fan base.
He won't know. He called him out. He said, "Where were you?"
Well, it looked to me like they had a pretty good.
They had 65,000 people there, but I think he wanted a full house.
well, you're not going to get a full house. They've never had a full house on an orange and white
not
game.
for orange and white game. They haven't.
No.
But now I did admire what he said though about the players. He said he saw some players give up on some plays, then he saw some players just flat out quit, and he said that's not acceptable.
Oh, no. Effort is not something that you reward. It's expected.
And they're going to have their little exit interviews with the people, the players fixing to go home and all that stuff, and some of them may want to consider transferring.
Somewhere else.
He's got to be careful, though. He's dancing a thin line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, in 2006, they stopped getting recruits because their program wasn't fun. They did things like cut music out.
Yeah.
They stayed behind the times, and they lost, and their program bottomed out. Well, they're already bottomed, talent-wise. They're low. And if they start doing things and losing recruits, and they're not getting the better recruits, then they will go down further.
I just think that it was bad juju on his part to call out the fan base when the fan base for the last 10 years has been through hell and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's face facts, they're pretty nuts. Their fan
No, they're
base,
rabid.
yeah.
They are rabid.
Yes, we are.
They will turn. They will turn and eat you up.
Yes, we will.
The one thing that finally hit me about that whole situation, hit me on my way over here today.
By the way, everybody, Maurice Patton, say her. Yeah, there you go.
The one thing that hit me, respect is earned, and if anybody should know that, it's Jeremy Pruitt. Respect is earned. You don't just walk in here with your ex-Alabama defensive
Entitlement.
coordinator and everything else, and Jeremy's here. We need to turn out a 100K strong for the spring game. No, these folks,
Right.
this fan base
But prove
has
to
seen
us-
some bad football
Yeah.
the last few
Prove
years.
to us what you can do,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we'll.
Show me. I mean, it's Tennessee, but It could still be Missouri, the Show Me State. As far as that goes, respect is earned. Do it on the field, and then, if you feel the need to call your fans out. But here's the thing: when you hired Jeremy Pruitt, that's what you hired, and some of that you're going to have to live with.
Right.
And he's going to do some things out of brashness, and you're just going to have to live with that. But it will be interesting to see how the fans respond to getting called out like that, I think.
What's going to happen if they open up with a loss next year against West Virginia?
Which absolutely could happen.
Oh, very easily.
If they do, they'll
Very
win
easily.
3 games at the most. And those are the gimme games.
I've not looked at their schedule that close.
They have a real tough schedule like Vanderbilt did for about 5 games in a row. They played Georgia, Florida, Alabama, several other teams all in a row. They're going to get mauled during those. If they don't win their first game, they'll win 3 at the most.
They won 4 last year, Mac.
Well, it don't matter.
You're saying.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, Mo. I'm telling you, when I looked on the field and I saw Vanderbilt and Tennessee, Tennessee may have had 2 people that could play at Vanderbilt. 2.
You're not biased, though.
No. Well, when you look at it, they had Trey Smith on the offensive line who really looked horrible against Vanderbilt at tackle. He just could not. He got the 2 brothers, the Oladipo, I think I got it correct. Brothers just ate him alive. So he had trouble with his speed on the outside. He couldn't play tackle at Vanderbilt. Now, he may have played the opposite guard, and he was all SEC at guard. He could probably play. Quarterback, running backs couldn't play. Running backs won't play this year. Red Mama's coming. And he just looked unreal in the spring down there. They had a receiver. They don't have anybody. Kelly, defensive back. That's probably it. But their defensive line just got manhandled. They just got manhandled. Just didn't have it.
And the worst thing about Trey Smith in his situation to me is the fact that he didn't get this spring.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a true freshman last year. He didn't get this spring to get better. And
the run blocking is okay. His run blocking was on point. The problem is in the SEC, the guys on the outside are just so unreal fast. I don't know what his arm length is or anything like that, but he really struggled that game. Now, he may have been injured that game too, though. He's off now. So that could have been an issue. But when you looked at them, they had a talent gap big time. I don't want to be mean, but if they was to play middle from 2 years ago, they would have had problems.
I tell you what, though, if the quarterback situation settles out, you've got Callaway on one side.
Yeah.
You got Jennings on the other side. If they can protect for somebody and get it downfield, I think they can make some things happen in the pass
their
game.
best thing. That's
Now,
their best chance.
is Jennings going to play this year?
Absolutely.
He has to. For him, it'll be.
I know that he's had a meeting with them and everything.
He's going to meet what it takes to get.
He has to because it'll be career ending for him.
Jennings will play.
Yeah, he has to. He's their best player.
It's not a discussion as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
he'll play.
I think one mistake they could make as a coaching staff is they lack the big running back, is to bring somebody in less talented as the big running back. They don't have the offensive line to pound. They better give Chandler the ball and hope he breaks a couple every other game.
I saw we ran in the Daily Herald, shameless plug. We ran an article about Pruitt and his being enamored with big backs.
Right.
And I'm gonna just tell you, I saw Jeremy Banks in the East-West All-Star game up in Clarksville the week after the state championships. I wasn't impressed. And if he gets more carries than Ty Chandler,
we're in trouble.
There needs to be an investigation.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Well, there will be because they'll be 3-8 or 3-11, or 3 whatever it is 9.
I mean, I've seen Ty Chandler. I've been on the field. I've seen and a lot of people have seen Ty Chandler's back.
Yeah,
and he can do that on any play.
He forces you to play and stay at home, play in position too.
And because of cutbacks, he can make a play from anywhere on the field.
If you're not talented, it's good to be either one of two things: really, really big and strong,
Or really,
really fast. If you don't have a lot of talent on your team, and fast is the preferred because you can score quickly.
And they're going to need that because, like you said, if the offensive line isn't any better than it is, then sustaining drives is going to be tough.
Yeah.
And so that quick strike, that being able to make a big play.
Here's another thing to take in consideration. Orange and white game. You had your number one offense going against the number one defense, and the number one defense allowed 34 points. It was 34-7.
Well, they lack a lot of talent, and their best defensive back went to the NFL. So they lack a lot of talent over there. But defense is something that you can play position, and if you're coached really, really well, you can get by. You know, if you can score enough points.
Now they did try the young man from
Manchester,
at defensive back.
Mm-hmm. Alontae Taylor.
Yeah, they said they wanted to try him there. They haven't worked with him at all on offensive side. They just wanted to see what he could do defensive wise, and he said, and he did okay.
He's an athlete.
Right.
He's a kid that's going to help you anywhere you put him just because he is an athlete. Right. I think he's really dynamic with the ball in his hands.
Pruitt and them said they wasn't worried about his offensive play. Anyway, they just wanted to try him on defense and see if he could help them out there. So
and I think from the numbers standpoint, I think that's a reason they looked at Phil Zame over there at corner as well.
Being a defensive-minded guy like Pruitt is, how disappointed is this guy going to be when his defense doesn't do what in his mind he wants them to be able to do because he doesn't have the talent?
I think he's going to be highly disappointed, and I think something else that he's going to have to be careful with. To his credit, I think he's acknowledged it, is in spring practice, in preseason practice, that kind of thing. When your offense is going against your defense, it's not necessarily your defense's fault if plays aren't being made. Maybe your offense is playing well, and he's going to have to do a better job or do a good job of balancing that and recognizing that, I think.
And he's got to remember he's both sides of the ball. But that's one of the reasons he hired John Lilly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and also he did say that he said we didn't do a lot of things well Saturday, and he said, and I'm not talking about the players at that point. He was talking about his coaches.
It's a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah. Think about this, though. You got Adams at Notre Dame, Adams at Missouri, Barnes at Notre Dame, Bruno at Vanderbilt. All are projected at late mid-round draft picks, anywhere from the second to the fourth. From the offensive line, all seniors playing for other universities.
Wow.
And then you have two younger guys. You have one at Ole Miss, one at South Carolina, who were from the state also.
Who's the South Carolina kid?
He's a guard. I'm trying to remember.
The kid at Ole Miss is from Nashville Christian, right?
Yep. Yeah. And there's a kid at South Carolina. Somebody told me that the other day. I didn't realize. He says you got 5 projected offensive linemen that they missed in 2014 and 15 that they didn't get.
Well, did they miss them, or did they? Well, I mean, they didn't get them, but I mean, did they recruit them and not get them, or did they not recruit them?
Well, they recruited 2 of them. The Barnes kid, they recruited him to get him. And they came in on Adams and Bruno late and lost because they came in
late.
Yeah. Didn't recruit them early. Well, Mahoney really made a huge mistake that they're paying for right now. If you got those 5 kids, just think about that right now.
I think Dooley started it. I think Dooley completely mismanaged in-state recruiting. I think Butch was really playing.
He had a year he didn't sign an offensive lineman.
Yeah. They had no contact. I mean, we went from seeing John Chavis, quite a bit,
to not seeing anybody.
Seeing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody. I mean, they would send a letter or have a phone call, and it was all brief. But all of a sudden we'd see guys from South Carolina, Georgia spent a lot of time. Coach Lilly spent a lot of time up here.
Ole Miss, I'm sure did.
Vanderbilt was always present, was always coming around. Alabama was up here quite a bit. Auburn, Ole Miss, Duke.
The state's
Oh,
loaded. The
Georgia.
state's loaded with
Rick was
talent right
upset.
now.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech. But
Well-
but like I said, we didn't hear anything
from Tennessee.
from Tennessee after Fulton, because like I said, it wasn't anything to walk in and see John Chavis scrunched up in Vance's office watching tape.
Watching film, yeah.
And I mean, you'd see it all the time. He'd, speak to you. After they were gone,
And the thing
We-
is,
we just-
you
we
would
just
see
didn't see
those.
anybody.
You would see those guys whether you had a player or not.
right?
For the anticipation.
Which makes well, if you've built those relationships when you don't have a player, then it's a little bit more genuine when
that
you
player
do.
comes through.
Yeah, and so it's easier for that coaching staff to sell you or to sell that player to you because they've seen you, they trust you, they know
Right.
you.
Right.
You know, when you're only coming through here when we've got somebody,
Yeah.
you know, it kind of makes a mark.
Are y'all chomping at the bit for this season to get underway?
You know,
I'm
I
ready
ju-
for football.
Hey, I just walked in, man. You know, I'm just trying to catch up and keep
I
up.
for one
I think
am
it's
ready for
125
football.
days away.
Yeah.
Something
Reese,
like
that's
that.
I
what
know.
Robbie Caldwell did so well.
I know.
And you got to trust Coach Caldwell. And then, when he left Vanderbilt, went on, that didn't drop.
He's at Clemson now, isn't he?
still,
He is a Clemson.
They just
he's
stole a
still-
couple of players. He just stole a couple more from the state. We need to block him out.
But
You'll
he's
crack
got,
back on him.
he's got great relations.
No, they get the absolutely best players.
You talk to him, he's, it's,
Caldwell's as genuine as it gets.
and I was really surprised.
All right, Mo. Let me ask you this. This is a
Jackson was a problem.
this is a serious question. I'm serious. Okay, serious question. Do you ever get the opportunity as a sports writer to make comment to a coach as to a player you may or may not like or have seen that may or may not be of quality work?
Depends on who the coach is. I mean, there are some coaches that I
approachable?
There are some coaches that I have relationships with,
Right.
and there are some coaches that and there are guys that I would feel comfortable saying something like that to, and there's some that I wouldn't, and that's pretty much in every sport. But I've had some guys that I've either seen or come across on Twitter, or I've been fortunate enough to have their phone number or something like that, and it's like, you need to get on X.
Well, that's what happened when Walt Wells got fired at South Florida. A reporter, actually from another state, picked up the phone and called Butch and told him, said, "Hey, you don't know what you're missing, Coach." And he called on. We were driving home from a wrestling tournament.
Imagine
when
that.
we wrestled Jay Sean that day.
Oh, okay.
We were driving home from
over at Beach.
No, it was at somewhere in Middle Tennessee. It was at the Middle Tennessee, one of the Middle Tennessee holiday tournaments.
Okay.
He wrestled that, and right before he walks on the phone, he got the call. And said, "Hey, I want to let you know." He was all off, not thinking about it, and of course I don't think he lost since his sophomore year, but he ran out and won the match. And on the way home, he said, "Hey, I think Butch Jones called me before the match." And he said that he wanted to get me in this class and that he was going to call me back before the weekend. And he wants me to come do a tournament. I said, "Are you going to go?" And he said, "Well, Coach Wells ain't going to be there." And this is when we just found out Wells was not there. And the same coach who called him and the beer man called Derek Mason, who just got the job. Mason sent the offensive line coach straight up, and Butch delayed, and that's how we ended up at Vanderbilt.
So Walt was at South Florida when
As the
Bruno
offensive
committed?
as the offensive coordinator. Walt saw Bruno when Bruno, as a sophomore, most people don't realize Bruno weighed 200 pounds. He was little. He's a year younger than he's supposed to be. So he hadn't even hit puberty. He went from a 220-pound heavyweight to a 290-pound heavyweight in 6 months.
And you guys, y'all haven't seen a whole lot of high school wrestling.
No.
I have.
Oh, I know.
Bruno was special.
His senior year, his assistant coach Aaron Hoker was a NCAA champion, and we we contacted like 10 of the top 10 wrestlers and asked if we could come in and wrestle. They're heavyweight. Nobody know. We'll close the doors. Nelson was a heavyweight champ, NCAA champ time. And we had Minnesota on the hook. I said, we're about to pin this guy. We're about to get him. NCAA champion, closed doors, just us. I was like, he's never going to experience anybody that throws like this or a heavyweight that, does this. And then at the last minute, they backed out. I said, hey, I've got my judo insurance covered. It's $3 million liability insurance. We'll just come in, we'll just wrestle, and we'll do it. I mean, you can call it a camp, nothing. And then everybody started backing out. And when Franklin went to Penn State, I thought he might end up at Penn State,
But here's the thing. And we've talked about this before. With Bruno being as good as he is as a judo champion, being as good as he is as a wrestling champion, my God, on the field he's got to be a beast out there because he knows how to move, he knows how to push people out of the way, he knows how to stop people.
He'd only played football a year and a half, 2 years.
I understand that, but still.
Yeah.
So, but what
That's
that
incredible.
says is his best football's ahead of him.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, look at Ed Too Tall Jones that played at Tennessee State. He only played 2 years of football at Tennessee State.
I didn't realize until a couple of years ago. Apparently, he was a heck of a baseball player. In high school.
He was a baseball player, but he went to TSU as a basketball player.
And
they
snuck him out.
Coach Merritt happened to be walking by and saw him one day and said, "Come here."
Which I'm sure made Ed Martin really happy.
Yeah, don't you know?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure he was really worried about that.
Yeah, you're right.
At that time, though, Coach Merritt,
he ran things.
You couldn't.
I've seen Coach Merritt hold his own against what's his name at MTSU? Against
Butch Donnelly.
Boots
Boots
Donnelly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I played for old Boots my freshman year.
Yeah.
Did you?
At middle? Okay.
Yeah. Like old
I
Boots.
transferred to Austin Peay after that.
I've got a friend that played for both Coach Merritt and Coach Donnelly.
Really?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll bet that was an experience.
It was. He spent 2 years at TSU and then he transferred over to MTSU. And yeah.
Coach Donnelly had a heart attack about 5 years ago. And I called him, and being that he was the athletic director at the time or just got through, and Bruno was coming out, he actually took the call. And I got his message. I got his answer machine. I said, "Coach, I heard you had a heart attack. I was shocked to hear that you actually had a heart." And I hung up, and he called me back. And that just tells you what kind of guy. I mean, he just blew it off. We never had the best relationship in the world, but
I tell you, everybody's relationship with Boots got better after they played.
A heck of a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I once had to run at 5 o'clock in the morning for that joker, and he didn't even show up.
Well, you should have had to run the Blue Raider Network like I did, and you had the Boots Donnelly show, and you had all that stuff at that time back in the early '70s, and with Monty Hale who called all the play-by-play, and I was the engineer for the Blue Raider Network, and I caught more flack from Boots Donnelly at the radio station all the time. But what a great guy! When you get him and Jimmy Earl together, it was a party. It was a party in the car. I'll put it that way.
He's a different individual.
Yeah,
he really
he is. But
he
I tell you
smoked
what.
like unreal.
Oh, but he was the face of Middle Tennessee State University athletically
absolutely.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Even for the success that the basketball team had when they beat Kentucky, and even for the success that Coach John Stanford had with the baseball program.
Yeah.
Boots was MTSU.
How long was Stafford in baseball? He was there for
15 years
at least, maybe 20.
Ever since Moby Dick was a minute.
That's an athletic program that has exploded.
Yeah.
Middle.
Dan, you remember when WKRM picked up the Boots Donnelly show?
Oh yeah.
And Coach Donnelly came down here sold his own advertising.
Now this was way after he got out of coaching, and he kept the Boots Donnelly show, and he would do 15 minutes a week, and he would get local advertisers to come and advertise on a show. But great guy, super guy.
He wrote me in when I had to market, but the best part about that was once a week he would come down and stand up there and Bull with us. We'd
Well, you
have
know
a big bull
why?
session.
Because at that time his shows were on tape,
Yeah.
and he had to bring them down.
He had,
Yeah, not like it is where we can just point and click now, and
it's there.
It's like by magic, it shows up in your inbox.
but he'd come by and
yeah.
we'd have big time.
He's a character.
Oh, he
Still
is.
is.
I used to love to hear him talk. They'd ask him, well, what kind of team you got this year, Coach? Well, we'll be lucky if we win 3 or 4 games, with this bunch we got. But we're going to play the best we can. And they go out and win the OVC.
Him and Ed Booney are running that wide tackle six.
next to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People hated that.
I hated it because they lined Kenny Tippin so far outside, and he was so good. I mean, he's a real good friend. I love Ken. I love
Tip.
I love him, but I would chop him every chance I got. Just those big old bow legs. I just was trying to take him out. He was so fast, man, and he would come from so far outside like a blitzing safety. Gosh.
Yeah, when were you at Austin Peay?
86 through 89.
Okay, yeah, that's because I transferred to Middle in '83, and I was around there for most of that.
85
time, so
was my freshman year.
Yeah, Tip was fun to watch.
He was a good.
Went on and played for the Falcons for a little bit.
Played one year with the Cowboys, the first Jimmy Johnson year, and then ended up with the Falcons for about 7 more.
Yeah.
Had a good career.
Yeah, real nice.
I got a lot of fond memories from MTSU sports.
Hey,
Hey, shout out to Chip Walters too, by the way. Just for no reason at all.
no reason.
No reason.
Just
Just to shout out to Chip Walters.
Hey, I don't know if you've touched on it. Obviously, I was late getting here, but I spoke to Kirk Shepard earlier today. The McDonald's of Murray County presents the Marion Wilhoit FCA Golf Classic is set for May 4th, I believe,
Okay.
at Stony Brook. So if you've got a team and you want to go play, or if you want to sponsor a hole, give Kirk a shout. 797-5260 or kshepard@fca.org.
And the Dylan Rabior tournament is coming up this
Fight like
Saturday.
Dylan. Yeah.
Fight Like Dylan Memorial Golf Tournament coming up this Saturday. If you still want to sponsor a hole, I believe you're a little late because we can't get the signs out or can't get them printed quick enough for a turnaround for Saturday.
What if they've got their own sign?
Bring it on.
There you go.
We'll take you $100.
I don't think you want exactly. I don't
We'll
think
take
you
you
want to turn
$100.
money down.
And it's going to be a big tournament. 36 teams. That's the biggest we've had so far.
They got all the carts squared away.
Yeah, everything is squared away. We're ready to go.
The hay is in the barn, as Coach Merritt used to say.
Yep. Yep. Right before he lit a cigar.
You remember Coach Merritt and Hope Hines on Channel 5.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we got cable back in the late 60s, we could watch the Burr Bryant show.
Oh.
And he would be there with his Coca-Cola and Golden
And his
Flake.
houndstooth hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And golden flake tater chips.
There you go.
Right there on the
Right there, a
Right
big
there.
bowl of them right there.
They call
Right
that
there.
product placement now.
Yeah, I know.
They probably didn't have that.
Ned
time
Ray
then.
McWhirter, former governor, former Speaker of the House of the state of Tennessee, was very good at product placement because every time he was at an event, now he owned a distribution for Budweiser in Dyersburg. So every time he would have a picture taken, that Budweiser can would be turned to where
That's right. huh?
Read Budweiser.
or you could read Budweiser on it.
And he was a great spokesman for Nilla Wafers.
Absolutely.
Vanilla wafers. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just saying, man, all this stuff's just bringing back memories now.
Can I ask one question as the guest? Who's the best player in the draft? Not who's going first. Who's the best player in the draft this year?
Oh, Lord.
I'll give you mine. Nelson, offensive guard out of Notre Dame.
Oh, you're a lineman guy.
Yeah.
Is it not Saquon Barkley?
Ooh, maybe the most true gifted athlete that's came out.
We
in a long
got
time.
about a minute left. Let me ask you this: when it gets to the Titans' choice at 25, what's going to be left?
Oh,
for them
it's-
to take.
It's loaded. There's gold in the third and the
They're-
fourth
they're
round
just
this year.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They're hoping
That-
quarterbacks go early and often.
Yeah.
I think quarterbacks will go early and often. I think I've got an article coming later this week. I talked to my
In
guy,
the Daily Herald.
Exactly. There you go. CDH.net. My guy is out of New Orleans, out of Louisiana, Mike Detillier. And if you get a chance to hear him over the next couple of days, do. He's gold. But talked to him a couple of days ago. Around 25, Titans are probably going to be looking linebacker. Rashawn Evans out of Alabama. This Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise.
He's actually a great player. Real good.
Harold Landry, edge guy from Boston College.
You know.
Those are the three names that he thinks will be most likely.
Oh, heck yeah. So that's good stuff.
But, yeah, I think linebacker, and I think the way the Titans are made up right now, you know, I think that may be as good a place to go as any. I don't think they're going to go offense in the first round.
You think they might trade back?
I think that's absolutely a possibility.
It depends on what comes off the board.
Yeah, if they stay at 25, that's what I'm talking about. But, yeah, you never know with John Robinson.
Well, because, you know, if he knows he can get the guy that he wants back down and pick up a couple extra draft, he's going to do it.
Bingo.
And on that note,
we're done.
Guys, you have a good night. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next